Perfect. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm talking today to Anthony Farry, coach of the Canadian men's hockey team. We're here at the Azlan Shah hockey tournament in Ipoh, Malaysia. So Anthony, it's great to have you here. We're running this series of interviews with the various coaches of the top men's teams in the world, and to try and get the feedback from the coaches about their philosophy of hockey. So could I just ask you, Anthony, what do you consider are the critical factors in creating a winning hockey team?
I guess, look, certainly for me, being a young coach in international hockey, in terms of experience, it's a learning process for me every day and what the critical factors are for success. One of the key ingredients for us at the moment is just to make sure that our men's program are working hard on the pitch, and not only hard on the pitch but also hard off the pitch. And I think that's one of the big things that we're looking at. I think in terms of how we're going to be successful, it's going to be a long-term plan for us, and it's something that we need to be patient with.
Right. In the modern game, a lot of emphasis is placed on the short corner, and in particular drag flicking. How important is it in the modern game to have a specialist drag flicker?
Yeah, I think it's very important, and it's something that we're looking to develop as well. I think we've got a couple of guys that show potential to be world class.
Yes.
We've got Scott Tupper, obviously, who's a noted short corner flicker, and he's doing well. We've also got a couple of young guys that are coming through the program now that really have the potential to do well, and I think if they're able to be successful, then it goes a long way in terms of our team being successful as well.
Okay. When you're selecting your players, I don't know what your selection criteria is in Canada, whether you have a committee or just a group of people, however it's done.
Yep.
Eventually, there's always this group of players, and some people select themselves for obvious reasons, and then it comes right down to the wire, and you're left with two people that you have to select from, and only one place.
Yep.
How do you make that final selection?
It depends on what tournament we're going to and what part of the program we're in as well. I think if we break it down, we're looking for athletes. There's no doubt about that. We want guys that can run. We want guys that can run games out. We're looking to play a fast style of hockey against a lot of nations. There's some nations that we can't compete with at the moment in terms of a skill level and a speed level which they play. But I think long term that's our objective. So to answer that, I would say athlete. We're looking for number one.
Okay. All right, you've selected your players, you've gone down to the last two, you've got your final one, the squad's all ready to go. How do you then motivate those players?
I think the players motivate themselves.
Yep.
It's international hockey. You know, if they're not motivated to play international hockey, then invariably they don't get selected. So that part of my job is really easy. There are complexities to it. There's no doubt about it. But I think our group drives what they want to do,
Yep.
and once they find and see that they're getting success and they're getting benefit out of working hard, that drives them internally. There's no doubt that myself and our other coaches as well have to work hard on getting some guys up to speed,
Yep.
but by and large the guys motivate themselves.
That's good to hear. Okay, you've motivated them, you've got them all raring to go and they're out there doing their thing. Play the game, things don't go quite according to plan, maybe you have to speak to one or two players and set them straight. How do you then criticise the players?
I'm not sure I'd use the term criticise. I think constructive feedback is something I would probably say that we use more so. The guys know when things don't work out well. As an athlete, you know when you're not producing and when you're not performing, and you know the all-encompassing thing is video, and the guys can look at the video and they see that. They take feedback well.
Yes.
We don't indiscriminately point out someone and make a big deal of it, but we certainly let them know when things aren't working and when they're not on track. And we expect our guys to hold each other accountable as well. So not only are we looking to make sure we get the best out of each athlete, the athletes themselves are looking to drive that performance.
Right. Okay. Old style hockey, we used to see fullbacks, midfielders, forwards. These days we see the players running all through the lines. We can see 4 or 5 changes at any one time in the game. People might start in one position, end up somewhere else, and then finish a game completely in a different place altogether. Even goalkeepers find themselves on the field sometimes.
Yep.
How do you develop the all-round player?
That's that's a hard one. I think it's giving them time in a different position, giving them a look at different aspects of play. So you're looking to, you know, sometimes rotate a defender up through the midfield, and they've got to be able to play in congestion and traffic. Having a defender do that is difficult, but you've got to give them the opportunity and the time to do that, and that comes through in training. So obviously we've got different drills that we like to do at training that give the guys a look at that and a feel of it as well. So when it gets to a game situation, then it's not completely foreign to them. But certainly in the game is the best way for them to learn.
Yeah. Okay, players receiving the ball, ball comes to them, what's the first thing they should do?
Well, I would hope that they would know before the ball comes to them what they need to be doing. But in a situation where they're faced with traffic around them in congestion, I think they need to stay down on the ball, control the ball, control the direction it's going. Once they're getting out of trouble, then obviously recognise what the next option is. You know, invariably I would like them to move the ball quickly. We talk about quick ball movement, and that's something that is a real focus for us. Yeah, I think quick ball movement is a key.
Okay. An attacking player receives the ball in a high position. Do you have any rules about when that attacker should take on the defence, or when they should lay the ball back?
No, not at all. I think that's something that we talk about each day with our guys, is having the ability and the freedom to explore what the next play might be. If they can see an opportunity and they sense they have the ability to do it, then we 100% encourage them to take it, and we want them to do that. We know it's not always going to work out, but it's a game where things are constantly changing, and guys need to be exploring those avenues. So no hard and fast rules with that at all.
Okay, good. Final question then. Hockey's a very dynamic game insofar as rule changes are concerned.
Yeah.
If you watch any game of hockey from previous years, you can tell more or less when it was played because of the rules which are applied. If you could change one rule in the game of hockey, what would you change and why? And you don't have to change any if you don't want to.
No, that's a good question. I'm not particularly sure I'd want to change too much at the moment for us.
Yeah.
I think had I been coaching someone else, maybe different, but I think as a group for us, the rules suit our group at the moment.
Okay.
To where we are. I'm really pleased that they've taken out the own goal rule. That one, I think, hampered us against a couple of nations that we've played recently. But I'm pleased that one's out. So at the moment, I'm comfortable with where we're sitting with that.
Okay, and in this tournament, they're allowing the high stick to collect the ball above the shoulder.
Yep.
You're happy with that?
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rewards skill, and I appreciate that.
But the danger rule still applies, so really no harm done.
No, and provided the umpires are sensible about how they're blowing that, then I think it's a good one.
Good. Anthony Ferry, thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you
luck.
for having me.
You're welcome. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.